We love South.
Hello and welcome back to part 2 of our Fireside Chat on our balanced approach to assessment here at Sydney Public Schools. This Fireside Chat is all about the NWEA MAPS reports that you will be getting very soon in your child's folder. So when you get this report, this is actually going to be a new report. This is not something that you've seen before. This is called the family report. It's got a lot of great information on there, and it's specifically built for families to be able to read and decipher some of the information. I want to go over a couple of the things with you and kind of talk about them, so hopefully when you do get that report, you'll understand exactly what it says, and then maybe have some great questions to follow up during parent-teacher conferences next week. So first of all, our MAP growth test that we give to all students. There are actually 2 different types of tests. We have a K2 test and then also a 2-5 test. So our kindergartners and first graders all get the same test, and our 2nd through 5th grade all get the same test as well. Now, this report is a nationally normed report, which means kids all over the nation take this test. So when you're looking at those results and looking at those graphs, just know that that's not just kids at Sydney Public Schools, but that's kids all across the nation that your student is being compared to. This report is going to give you a summary of how your child is performing academically, measured by the most recent test, which has been taken already here again in the fall. Remember, we take this test 3 times, just like we do the Dibbles. We take it in the fall, again in the winter, and then one final time in the spring. So, MAPS is a different kind of test in that they give questions to students, and when the student answers a question, that will actually change what the next question will be for them. So if a student gets a question correct in MAPS, then the MAPS program gives them a little bit more challenging question. And it keeps going there until they get one wrong. When they get a question wrong, then it will back it up and give them a slightly easier question. And so what happens is that program will work its way back and forth, going up into more challenging and going into a little easier until it kind of finally identifies the area or the band that student is at. So it does this in lots of different kind of complicated algorithms that the program has in place, but it does also give us a very accurate picture of where your student is at when they took that test. So there are a couple of things that you're going to see on this graph. You're going to see something about achievement, and you're also going to see something about growth. And so what do those mean? Achievement is how well your child has learned skills in a subject compared to similar students nationwide. Growth is the measure of your child's progress throughout the year or through some sort of a time frame. So if your student has been in Sydney Public Schools for some time, you're going to see some graphs on this report. There'll be a line graph that shows their achievement and where they've gone, and then there will also be a growth, which is like a color band, and you'll see exactly how much they're growing from the last time they've taken the test until the current time that they've taken the test. And so we get a good, accurate picture of what it is that they have learned over the course of a year, over the course of longer than that as well too. You're going to get something also on there that's called a RIT score. So the RIT score is the overall score for a subject based on a RASH unit scale, which is based as RIT, that indicates how your child performed in a subject. So when you take a look at those graphs, just remember that this is nationally normed. So your student is being compared to students all across the nation, and it's also measuring their growth, how much they've improved from the last time they've taken this test as well too. So if you have any questions, there are some great questions that are going to be on the back of that family report to kind of give you a starting point to ask your teacher during conferences. And if you have any questions on how to read the graphs, you can always contact your building principal, our curriculum director, Sherry Ayler, or your classroom teacher. Thank you so much for joining me today for this Fireside Chat. I hope you got something out of this, and I hope that when you see those reports, you're able to kind of look through those and get some great questions to ask for conferences next week. And I hope you have an excellent day. Thank you. Of the puzzle for this is, I'll start that over.